Omar Khan kept going. He didn't stop. Let me break this down for you. Let me give everybody a little bit of insight of how this went down yesterday. All the local guys meet with Mike Tomlin on Monday. We talked to him, and then yesterday we're talking to Mike Tomlin at the the AFC coaches breakfast, which breakfast phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Let me just tell you that the hotel that they're in. I was talking to Omar Khan last night. We were just chatting, and I'm like, dude, I've never seen a hotel this nice in my life. And he's like, oh, you're not staying here? And I was like, you think I could afford the Ritz-Carlton? You think my company could afford the Ritz-Carlton? I'm in the courtyard down the street, pal. There's no chance. There's almost a full mall in this hotel. There's an 18-hole golf course that's $400 to golf on. It's ridiculous. I'm nervous to go in the Starbucks, and I bought a turkey sandwich there yesterday. It was $25. I was like, this is wild. The food's fantastic. The atmosphere is gorgeous. I mean, it's a 2-mile walk. If you type it into the GPS Monday, I went down there, and I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, guys, but this is important. I left my hotel room on Monday. I said, dude, I'm in Florida, man. I'm walking. It's a 12-minute walk to this hotel. I'm walking. I got there. The GPS didn't calculate for the 1.5-mile driveway that goes from the street to the front door of this hotel. So I walked a 15-minute walk, took me, 40 minutes. I walked in there soaking wet. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This hotel is wild. Food's wild. So we talked to Mike Tomlin at the breakfast. Then we talked to Omar Khan later in the day. He comes out and he goes, first words he goes, all right, guys, I got some news for you. And then his phone rings and he picks up the phone and he goes, oh, 1 second. And he walks away. And we're all looking at each other like, is that the Brandon Ayuk call? Are they call? That's the trade. He's making the trade right now. Comes back. Obviously somebody said something. He was like, no, not something that big. Dropped the news of Dean Lowry, Kyle Allen, and then Quez Watkins. Then he talks about a lot of things. He's asked about the center position, and he drops a little bit of a hint in there, a little bit of a bombshell. Goes, we could sign guys in free agency. The NFL draft is certainly an option, and he tossed in there, there are trade possibilities, and everybody latched onto that trade possibilities. The Pittsburgh Steelers could make a trade at center. Who could be out there? And everybody's speculating. Everybody's trying to come up with names. Who can the Pittsburgh Steelers go and trade for? To be quite honest with you, there is only nope. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a position in football that is tougher to trade for than the center position, because there are 32 starters. And if you have a quality starter, you're not trying to let that starter walk unless he's too expensive for your football team. And the Pittsburgh Steelers can't afford too expensive for your football team when it comes to a center right now. They've just don't have the funds. They don't have the money, and they could come up with the money, but there are options in the NFL draft, and we'll get to that in a couple of minutes here. I don't look at a center trade as a real possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. I read that quote and I reread that quote, and I was there in the moment, and it just doesn't sound like there's going to be a massive splash trade the way that everybody is latching onto this and saying, oh my gosh, is it out there? I don't think it is. I don't think you could go out and get a center, a top 32 center, and say, hey, this is our guy. And I don't think you could go get a backup. I don't think you're going to make a trade for a backup when a guy like Connor Williams is out there, or a guy like Brian Allen is out there. And to be honest, I think that's heating up. I think the more days that pass, Connor Williams becomes a very big option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the more days that pass, Brian Allen becomes a big option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Cody Whitehair might be an option for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I just look at them and say, at this point in free agency, these guys are not going for a lot of money. You don't know when they're going to play, so you got to bring them in with medicals and hope that everything goes as planned and that they're 100% healthy, but chances are they're not going to be 100% healthy, not right now. I mean, if Cole Holcomb isn't updated enough where we know if he's going to be ready for week 1, I don't think a 300-pound center is going to make faster progress than he is. That being said, if you could look at Connor Williams and say, hey, how healthy are you? And you could bring him in for medicals and things could go smoother than you expect, I think that's a name that he's going to sign a prove it deal. That's what the Steelers are looking for. Come prove it and prove it for other teams. Prove it for 32 other teams because we're going to draft a center and that's going to be our future center. But for right now, you can come in here and prove it. I don't think that a draft or a trade is on the table for the Pittsburgh Steelers as much as everybody kind of wants to believe that it is. I think it's too difficult. I think that free agency is a real possibility. And in the words of Omar Khan, we're always cooking. We're always cooking, but you know, things aren't always happening. And I believe it. And I think that they're cooking. I think that they're looking at centers. Connor Williams is the name that I got an eye on. It was Brian Allen, but I thought Connor Williams was going to go a lot faster, and he didn't. And I look at it and say, there's no way that you could go through an entire free agency period and let this guy walk into the season or walk into training camp. Omar Khan doesn't work like that. He's aggressive, and that's what it is.